Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sumukascha Yekadantascha Kapilo Katakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surtakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Suklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Yatchadvaradavakradhya Parishadhya Parasasam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishpaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Aklishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedhyaya Gurave Buddhisakshine Krishnadvaipaya Namvyasam Sarva Bhuta Hiteratam Vedabjabhaskaram Bande Samadhi Nilayam Munim Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Janmadhyasya Yataha Advayat Itaratascha Artheshu Abhignaha Swarat Tene Brahma Hrudayaha Adikavaye Mukhyanti Yat Surayaha Tejovari Brudam Yatha Vidimayo Yatritri Sargo Vrusha Dhabna Sena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharmaha Prochida Kaitavotra Paramo Nirbhat Saranam Satam Vedhyam Vaktavam Atra Vastu Sivadam Tapatrayon Molanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Parairishvaraha Sadhyo Hridi Avarudhyatehe Atra Krutubihi Susrushubhiki Tatshanate Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Sukhamukat Amrita Drava Samyutam Vibhata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasikaha Bhuvi Bhavukaha. Now let us continue with Swami's grace where we left off yesterday. We came up to Slokam 15 in Adhyayam 26, Skandham number 3. We were talking about the Chaturbhihi, the 4 Antakaranas. Okay, Manaha Buddhihi Ahamkaraha Chittam iti Antaratmakam Chaturdha Lakshyate Bhedaha Vritya Lakshana Rupaya. Okay. Now they take up from Brahmana. We also did the number 15. Etavan eva sankyataha brahmanaha sagunasyaha sannivesaha maya proktaha yaha kalaha panchavimsakaha. The kalam, the time is the 25th element. Okay, has been said by me. Has been the Yatavan eva sankyataha brahmanaha sagunasyaha. These have been the sankyataha, people who enumerate, who calculate what are the ways, how many elements are there, how many aspects, the facets are there. They say 24. And these arrangements, sannivesaha. But maya proktaha yaha kalaha panchavimsaka. Panchavimsaka, 25th aspect, which one it is, that is kalam. Up to that point we keep kalam, time. Number 16 we keep, not take up. Now, it's very important to remember. This is so beautifully explained, and it's good to review that. The first 20 are very easy to understand, even though Panchabhutangal are there, we know, we have heard them. Then each bhutam has got internal tanmatra, the characteristics, right? Starting from 1 for akasam to 5 for the bhumi, right? We covered that, the smell, the sound, the taste, etc., right? So that 5 plus 5 is 10. Then we know we have 5 senses of perception, the jnana-indriyangal, and 5 senses of action, the karma-indriyangal. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 20. Then there is 4 internal impulses that we see, we know it is there, right? So 20 plus 4 is 24. Plus we also relate to the time aspect, the time swarupam, the kala swarupam of Bhagavan. We are being embraced by it, right? Even though fallaciously and quite foolishly, I must add, that we talk about time management. Okay, that itself is wrong. Time cannot be managed. Time is the one that manages us. So what we should really be learning in school and in the business world and everywhere is time utilization in the best way. How can I, each minute is something that I should serve. I should serve something that is superior and more powerful than me. I cannot manage time. It's not possible. Time manages me. That's the very first truth that we have got to understand. Now, number 16, with this 25 in there, still there is something that is missing in the way the Prakriti and the Purusha, the Lakshanangal that Devahuti talked about. So we understand a little bit about Prakriti, but what is it that makes all of these things function? As we saw earlier in Bhagavatam itself, all of these are inert. There is nothing there for them to get life till Bhagavan has to enter. And then this whole thing, remember, nothing is outside Bhagavan. Everything is in Swami's womb only. We saw that earlier on also. Everything is in Narayana's womb. That is what Brahma saw, right? We covered all that earlier on in one of the other adhyayangas. And so when you look at it like that, see, there is Mahat Tattvam has to come. And Mahat Tattvam is simply put is the modus operandi. So when the Prakriti has been set up along with time, then it has got to operate. There's got to be an operating principle, right? The basis on which it has got to operate. And that is Mahat Tattvam, which is nothing but the one principle that is so easy to understand but so much confused in both explanations, in discourses and all that, because they employ intelligence to understand it. It cannot be understood by intelligence. That is why very seldom one will come up with a satisfying, clear explanation of what Mahat Tattvam is, unless the Avatara Purushan himself says, what is this Mahat Tattvam? And that is nothing but one of giving love, sharing love. That's all. Expanding one's heart and to share love. The moment I give out love, share, automatically I receive love. That is the only modus operandi, to give happiness, to receive happiness, to give love and to receive love. That is the Mahat Tattvam principle, which is the presence of prema in everything that has been created by the Gunangal in the Prakriti due to the agitation caused by the passage of time. So that is how things get created. Okay? Very simply put, things get created only by and that is what we are going to cover in the next few slokams. So just giving a summary of it. Prakriti is nothing but the three gunas, but in absolute equilibrium. Okay? When the three gunangal are in absolute equilibrium, there is nothing there. Then due to the passage of kalam, the agitation takes place. Bhagavan's will. Okay? When the agitation takes place, the equilibrium is disturbed. When the equilibrium is disturbed, then the three modes, the three gunas, cause a variety of manifestations, variety of appearances, unbelievable dynamics and the varied appearances. I mean, amazing. Not only gross, but the various thoughts, etc., that comes from that. The Gunangal also, our thoughts are also a part of the Gunangal. And all this now has to have a certain basis. And that basis is prema. So when Bhagavan, in our limited language, we say enters, is a word we use in English, unfortunately. Entering means something from outside is coming in. It's not like that. Bhagavan is always present. So it's the basis of everything. So that presence of Bhagavan, that prema, now the modus operandi is to manifest the presence of prema in everything. And that is all the other creations, 8.4 million types of creations in Prakriti, except the human being, -1, they all exhibit that. They all exhibit that inherent prema in them, which is the one of attraction. It is parasparam, they live in absolute law of nature. Man is the only one that has problems, right? That is why we are even talking about it. So the Mahat Tattvam applies only to human beings, because all the teaching of Mahat Tattvam applies only to human beings, but all the other creations, 8.4 million minus 1, they all automatically are in alignment with the principle of Mahat Tattvam. Okay? So for only human being, we need to understand. And that is and this Mahat Tattvam, as we're going to the next few slogans, we're going to see, is highly effulgent, indestructible, absolutely indestructible. It has no differentiation. And it's highly effulgent, and this effulgence swallows all the darkness of selfishness. The selfishness can be eradicated only by selflessness. Simple. The selflessness is what prema is. Okay? To practice that, I have to become less and less selfish and more selfless, keep on serving others, putting others' needs over mine, etc., etc., etc. So these are all simple practical tools. Reducing my desires, acquisitive desires have to be reduced, sacrificial desires have to be increased. All these things are part and parcel of the exercises, the mental exercises I've got to go through in order for the mind to look at the love within, and for me to become a better and more loving person. That's the only reason I'm born. From the time I'm born to the time I die, there must be a difference. Not in just physical appearances, but in the quality of my mind. My mind must become pure, at least less impure than it was, if it is not fully pure. Okay? So this is a charter. So here we talk about the next few slokams, what happened after the 25 aspects have been created. We go to slokam 16. Prabhavam paurusham prahuhu kalam eke yataha bhayam ahamkara vibhudasya kartuhu prakritim iyushaha. What happened? This is our case. We are all afraid of bhayam. We are all have bhayam, fear about with time, isn't it? When our end comes, how the Mahat Bhayam is basically people are afraid of death. That is not in our control. And so what's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. If I acquire some wealth today, will I be able to maintain it tomorrow? Will it be protected? There's always Bhayam associated with this column, which is Bhagavan's Swarupa. And that is Prabhavam, that is Bhagavan's Prabhavam, that is Bhagavan's influence. Number 16, going to Padarthangal. Prakritim iyushaha ahamkara vimudasya kartuhu. Okay? Prakritim iyushaha, one who is attached to the Prakriti, the material creation, and ahamkara vimudasya, thinking that I am the doer, I am this body, this mind. That person, kartuhu, that person, the doer, who does actions like that for him, yataha bhayam, from which fear comes, that kalam, that kala swarupam, that time, eke paurusham prabhavam prahuhu. That kalam is Bhagavan's swarupam, an influence of the Paramatma is what it is said. Okay? Kalam, Bhagavan, Prakriti is also Bhagavan's Swarupam, and so is Kalam. Prabhavam, Paurusham, Prahuhu, Kalaveke, Yataha Bhayam, Ahamkara Vibhudasya Kartuhu, Prakritim Iyushaha. Number 17. Prakrutehe Gunasamyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yataha Saha Bhagavan Kala iti upalakshitaha. Prakrutehe Gunasamyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yataha Saha Bhagavan Kala iti upalakshitaha. Upalakshitaha has been described. A Manavi, the daughter of Manu, my mother, says, Nirvisheshasya Gunasamyasya the very important. Nirvisheshasya gunasamyasya prakrutehe shreshtaha yatah sah Bhagavan kalayati upalakshitah. This is unbelievably beautiful, so beautifully said. Even I just something else happened to me when I read it again. Now, Prakriti is the three gunas in equilibrium. When absolutely in equilibrium, there is nothing, no movements, no agitations, nothing happens, right? So Cheshtai is a very beautiful state. We all say Cheshta means, we call it as mischief, right? In colloquial grammar, and activities. So when it's an absolute equilibrium, there's no activity. So what the slokam says is, the mother, daughter of Manu, there is no differentiation. Without any differentiation, gunasamyasya, without interaction of the three gunas, prakritehe is present. Prakritehe. So prakritehe, the adjective is nirvisheshasya gunasamyasya. Prakritehe. The prakriti that has no differentiation, and the prakriti that has no interaction of the three gunas. But then it starts acting. The Seshtai, how does it happen? Yataha, from where does it get that mischief and activity, that acting impulses and all that? That Saha Bhagavan, that Bhagavan, Kalaha iti is time, upalakshati iti upalakshati, it is said. So, Bhagavan, everything is Bhagavat Swarupa. Prakriti, Gunangal, there is nothing that is devoid of Bhagavan. Okay? But there are three primary tools or elements or facets, so to speak. Impossible to understand creation. I mentioned to you earlier, I repeat it again, impossible to understand. It is like making a noise with one hand. It's not, we can't understand it. But with a limited intelligence, at least something that makes sense to our intelligence, I'm describing. Okay? Creation can be understood, can be known only by the creator. It cannot be understood by the created. Impossible. But with the limited intelligence, with the curiosity we have, and with the teaching that Kapila Bhagavan is telling, let us grasp what he is saying in a very limited way. In my limited way, I'm sharing. Extremely limited way. So, three items. You've got Mahatattvam, Prakriti, which is three gunas in equilibrium, and there is Kala. Okay? Now, the Prakriti, they start all the activities, the appearances, disappearances, all the manifestations, everything takes place in Prakriti. From what? From that is known as Kalam, that is also Bhagavan Swarupam, is what the slokam says. This is very true in our own life. It is not like externally happening. We know very well. With the passage of time, so many things got created, so many things also disappear, right? And every moment is a new moment of creation in our life. Every minute is a new moment of creation, right? Whether it's in our own life, we can experience it. Okay, if we just pay close observation, we will see it. So that column is also Bhagavan. Now, this Bhagavan, number 18, Antaha Purusha Rupena Kala Rupena Yaha Bhagihi Samanvetya Yeshaha Sattvanam Bhagavan Atma Mayaya. See, this now again summarizes what we say. Bhagavan, this Bhagavan, the Paramatma, Atma Maya, which is Maya. Now, what is Maya we saw earlier on is the power of separation. That is what Bhagavan, the power of projection. That Bhagavan said, I'm going to have this Leela. Okay, then this Leela has to have immediately, Yekoham Bahusyam, right? I'm only one, but I created myself from myself. That power of separation is Maya, Atma Maya, which is own Maya. That Bhagavan. And what happens is number 18. Number 18. Yaha, yo baghi, yaha, who, Atmamaya, with his own, this Maya, Yoga Maya, Atmamaya, this power of separation, Purusha Rupena, Sattvanam, Antah Purusha Rupena, Sattvanam, all entities, all beings, Antah, indweller, also Purusha Rupena, the various embodiments, whether it's a blade of grass, earthworm, or a human being, or a desk, or a chair, it doesn't matter. There are different forms, embodiments of Bhagavan. Now, so both Purusha Rupena, which is the embodiment, as well as Antaha, is also the indweller. Yaha, who, and Bhagihi, Antaha as well as Bhagihi, outside as well as inside, Bhagihi, and in addition, Kala Rupena also. He is also the form of time. The gross forms, the indweller, both inside the Antakaranangal, we know what's inside each one of us, right? And also outside too, plus also the form of time, Kala Rupena. And Samanvati, he exists without being touched by any of these, without being differentiated or influenced. He exists in all these. That's Samanvati, Yeshaha, Yaha who, Yeshaha he, Bhagavan. He is Bhagavan, the Paramatma, the effulgence, self-effulgence, both inside, outside, gross form, invisible form, and also the form of time. So everything is Bhagavan, very simply put. Number 18, Antaha, Purusha Rupena, Kala Rupena, Yaha, Bhagihi, Bhagihi means outside, Samanvetya, Yeshaha, Sattvanam, Bhagavan, Atma Mayaya. So, all these things are appear to be separated from him, isn't it? Appear to be separated. Even my thought, for example, that says I am different from Bhagavan, I am this body, that itself is separated. Everything. Why is it so difficult for me to focus on Bhagavan? The power of separation is there. For that, I have got to surrender to that power. So, that Atma Maya, with everything is Bhagavan only. Even Maya itself is Bhagavan. If I think, oh my God, I feel separate from Bhagavan, then I feel separate from Bhagavan. What is now compelled me to think like that? That is the power, that is Bhagavan. So, best thing is to focus on Bhagavan only. Number 19. Daivat Chupida Dharminyam Sasyam Yonau Paraha Puman Adatta Viryam Sa Asuta Mahat Tattvam Hiranmayam. Now we come into Mahat Tattvam. So far, 24 plus 1, all the 25. Kapila Bhagavan has told us is nothing but Bhagavan. Both inside and outside, everything is Bhagavan only. Now, but still nothing is acting, right? The play has to have an actor also, right? All the elements are there. Somebody has to act, and that has to come. The various appearances have come because of time, but the power, the basic modus operandi now comes. And we should not think these are all sequential, like one after the other, like our limited mind. Bhagavan's in Sankalpam, everything is simultaneous. Okay? Because he is beyond time. So, Daivat, Chupida, Dharminyam, Swasyam, Yonau, Paraha Puman, Adatta, Viryam, Saha, Asuta, Mahat Tattvam, Hiranmayam. Daivat, with the grace of this Bhagavan. Because earlier on we saw in Bhagavatam, all these things after having been created, basically held in suspension in Bhagavan's womb. Everything, we're all in Bhagavan's womb only. That's why we're all brothers and sisters, and we're all joined by one mind, which is it's called Hiranyagarbham, right? And so that Garbham is what we're all on, even though we think we're all different. So they all prayed to Bhagavan, Swami, yes, all these have come, the three Gunangal have come, Kalam has come, and what do we do? Once the columns time start disturbing the equilibrium, the various appearances and all the things can take place. But we want to do the job you have given us, but we don't have the power of the Shakti. So that is where Mahatat, Bhagavan exists in them, and he gives the Mahatattvam, operating principle, Daiva. That is the grace with the Anugraham, with the blessings of Bhagavan. Chupi there means agitated. Dharminyam, whose equilibrium of the three gunas, that is the Prakriti. Okay? Prakriti is nothing but equilibrium of the three gunas. And now that equilibrium Chubita gets agitated. Sasyam Yonau, in his own garbham, in his own womb. Yonihi is very important to understand. The simple way to understand this, look at a seed that we put in the backyard. The seed is called bijam. Okay? A plant comes out of it. But if you break open the seed, there is nothing in it inside. But where does the energy, the Shakti for the seed to grow into a plant, that ultimate fundamental Shakti, energy, whatever we will call that divinity is Yonihi. Everything is come from Bhagavan's Yoni, Bhagavan's Garbham only. So here, so because Sasyam Yona from in his own womb, Paraha Puman, Param Purushan, Viryam. Viryam means it's not only courage or something. This is the essence of the divinity. Okay? And very important, that Viryam, Bhagavan's Viryam is nothing but prema. To put it in a simple way so we can relate to it, Bhagavan said Viryam, Adhatta, he established it, which is we call it indweller, the Vishnu, whatever we name we call it. This Bhagavan's prema is indwelling in all of this, in his own garbham. Okay? No different from what we call as the DNA of our mother that we get in our womb, mother and father, and that is nothing but one form of love that we in mother's womb, the body grows. But beyond the body, there's something else also is there in our creation, isn't it? So that love is very much present on that. Sa, he's talking about the Prakriti. Here, Dharminyam refers to the Prakriti. Sa, that Prakriti, Hiranmayam Mahatattvam Asuta. In that Prakriti, in that creation, the nature, Hiranmayam, effulgent, Mahatattvam, the principle of the operation of love, prema, giving love and receiving love. That is what Mahatattvam is. That modus operandi, the operating principle, Asuta, was delivered to the Prakriti. Bhagavan has now Prakriti he has created, column he has created, then he delivered the operating instruction, so to speak, which is Mahatattvam, which is effulgent, highly effulgent. And Bhagavan, the whole Prakriti is effulgent because of the indwelling Bhagavan prema. Now, in that Prakriti, if I operating in a loving way, if I conduct myself in a loving way, I become more effulgent, isn't it? I shine. So that Mahatattvam, which is effulgence of prema, was also delivered as the operating instruction for the game, the Leela that Bhagavan is playing. Originally we saw Leelaya for the play. The operating rules for this is Mahatattvam. Daiva Shubhita Dharminyam Sasyam Yonam Paraha Puman Adata Viryam Saha Asuta Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.